evening, sir.
Good evening. You can join the meeting, the JITC meeting.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So the live is going on and it is clear. Video and audio both are clear.
Okay, good. Share the screen. Can you see the share screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsavituvarenyam Bhargo Devasva Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsavituvarenyam Bhargo Devasva Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsavituvarenyam Bhargo Devasva Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Okay, so welcome. Voice is clear. You can see the screen. So today's topic is container. Yesterday we did the lashings of container. Now today we will do container markings, container plate and markings on a container. Simple. So you see this is a plate, the back side, the aft side of a container, and that there is a plate which you can see this with MRK. This is called CSC plate. Container. CSC plate क्या होता है? What is CSC plate? So CSC plate is a small metal plate like this. You see here, this is also there. These are the markings. This MRKU and all are the markings, and this is the CSC plate. So CSC plate is a small metal plate attached to one side of any container. This plate has some special mark and numbers that identify the container. So obviously there are so many different hundreds, 400, 600, 1,000 containers. How will you identify each container? That so we have so many things, number and so many identifications. So nobody has sailed on a container, but you must have seen a container before. Container देखा है यहाँ पे किसी ने पहले? जो बहुत जगह होता है यार्ड्स पे, पोर्ट में, रेल यार्ड्स में, रेलवे यार्ड्स में,
Yes, sir.
रोड पे भी जा रहे होते हैं कंटेनर्स, तो पीछे कई सारी मार्किंग होती है, राइट? मर्स के कंटेनर्स काफी देखे होंगे, CMA CGM के, करेक्ट? आजकल तो वो जो डेल हाइवरी है, बहुत सारे कुरियर कंपनीज के भी कंटेनर दिखते हैं. तो उसमें एक प्लेट होती है जो उसको आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए यूज होती है, जिसमें कुछ नंबर और साइंस दिए होते हैं, जिसको हम CSC बोलते, कंटेनर शिपिंग प्लेट. ठीक है? This plate, these numbers and marks tell is you about the container owner कौन है, shipping company कौन है, and type of container. So यहाँ से हमें पता चलेगा, एक ये मार्क है मर्स्क, तो इसका ओनर कौन हुआ, मर्स्क, शिपिंग कंपनी है। फिर उसके बाद टाइप ऑफ कंटेनर कौन सा है, साइज क्या है, सब कुछ इससे पता चलेगा, वेट कितना है, ये सब इससे पता चल जाएगा। फिर ये प्लेट जो है इसका ये होना मैंडेटरी, इसलिए इसके कंटेंट्स पूछे जाते हैं, कंटेंट्स ऑफ मार्किंग्स, कंटेंट्स ऑफ सीएससी प्लेट, मार्किंग्स ऑन अ कंटेनर, ये सब पूछा जाता है। So it is mandatory as per international trade to identify the container. Then this plate has a unique number to each container. And it also indicates the maximum gross weight of the container. तो कंटेनर का ग्रॉस वेट क्या है, खाली कंटेनर का वेट क्या है, ये हमें पूरा बताएगा। Let's see. So you can see first thing is the approval. So it is approved as per customs seal for transport. So it is called a CSC plate, Container Safety Convention. So there is a convention as per IMO, which is Container Safety Convention, and under that, this plate is made as per the guidelines, and it is then it has to go to approval by the customs wherever the container is made. So what is Container Safety Convention? Sometimes they can ask you that. So Container Safety Convention is an international treaty that sets safety standards for the construction and operation of containers used in international trade. So इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड में जो भी कंटेनर्स यूज होते हैं उनका सेफ्टी, उसका ऑपरेशन कैसे होगा, उसकी गाइडलाइंस जो है वो कंटेनर सेफ्टी कन्वेंशन में होगी, एंड इट वाज अडॉप्टेड बाय आईएमओ इन 1972। फिर उसके बाद यहाँ पे देखो व्हाट आर द मार्किंग्स हमें दी हुई है यहाँ पे। यू आर एबल टू रीड साहिल, व्हाट आर द मार्किंग्स?
So the markings are type, then manufacture, number of the container, then timber treatment, CSC safety approval, date of manufacture, maximum gross weight, allowable stacking weight for not able to read. Then racking test load weight, one
Raking.
door of operation, allowable stacking weight, then racking test load weight value.
Yeah. One second.
Then numbers are given.
Yes. So type. So this is the type. These are the types of container. We will just see. Then you have manufacturer of the container. So this is the code of the manufacturer. Then timber treatment, if there is any timber involved in that. So one first thing which you see here is GBC 15951 LR 2008. This is refers to the regulations as per this CSC plate convention, CSC convention, Container Safety Convention, as per which regulation this is made. So this is made as per 2008 regulations or standards of the container, which this container complies to. Mostly maybe Chinese or British, Great Britain. So British standards or Chinese standards. Then this type CB223002. You can check Sahil, the live is going fine.
Okay,
So
sir, I will
this
check.
It's the type or model of the container. So this is the type or model of the container. It is 20 foot or 40 foot, specifying the dimension and possibly other characteristics. So this we will see in detail, like what are the different types and sizes of container and what does this code indicates. Then the manufacturer's number. This gives the code of the manufacturer's identification number or code. Then middle section is the timber treatment. This specifies that the container wooden components have been treated to prevent insect infestation and decay, often using a treatment like Neganium 2000. So Meganium 2000 is used, or 2011, to treat the timber in any part of the container if it is there, maybe for insulation or somewhere. Then the approval from where this CSC safety approval is taken. This indicates that the container has been approved and meets the safety standard as per the Container Safety Convention. Then again, this GBLR number is there. Yeah. This might be another reference to the specific regulations or standards related to the container safety. तो कंटेनर की सेफ्टी के लिए ये कुछ अलग स्टैंडर्ड्स जो हैं कन्वेंशन के हिसाब से उनका है. फिर ACEP. So what is this? This could be a approval mark from a particular organization or body. तो एक बॉडी होगी ACEP, उसकी ये अप्रूवल की मार्किंग है कस्टम की. फिर है हमारे पास डेट मैन्युफैक्चर्ड, कब मैन्युफैक्चर हुआ था, ये मंथ एंड ईयर दिसंबर 2011 में. फिर मैक्सिमम ग्रॉस वेट, तो इसका खाली कंटेनर का वेट कितना है, 30,000 या 30 टन. अलाउेबल स्टैकिंग वेट, इसके ऊपर अगर हम कंटेनर स्टैक करेंगे, इसके ऊपर एक कंटेनर रखेंगे तो कितना होगा. तो मैक्सिमम ग्रॉस वेट indicates the maximum total weight of the container can safely carry, including its own weight and the weight of its contents. So total खाली कंटेनर और भरे कंटेनर का जितना वेट ये होल्ड कर सकता है वो ग्रॉस वेट हो गया. और स्टैकिंग वेट, इसके ऊपर अगर हम कंटेनर रख रहे हैं तो कितने कंटेनर रख सकते हैं इसके ऊपर. तो टोटल है 216 टन. तो अगर एक कंटेनर 30 टन का है, सो अराउंड 7 टोटल 7 स्टैक. तो इसको आई थिंक मिला के 6 स्टैक्स मोर इसके ऊपर लोड कर सकते हैं. दिस स्पेसिफाइज द मैक्सिमम वेट दैट कैन बी स्टैक्ड ऑन टॉप ऑफ द कंटेनर व्हेन इट्स एम्प्टी, खाली कंटेनर के ऊपर. 1.3 is likely a factor related to container structural strength. 1.8 ग्राम जो है वो कंटेनर की स्ट्रक्चरल स्ट्रेंथ के हिसाब से. देन रेकिंग टेस्ट लोड वैल्यू. रेकिंग टेस्ट एक होता है कि कंटेनर का लोड टेस्ट, कितना लोड ये ले सकता है. दिस इंडिकेट्स द मैक्सिमम लोड द कंटेनर कैन विथस्टैंड व्हेन प्लेस्ड ऑन अ रेकिंग सिस्टम. सो एक रेकिंग लाइक स्विंग सिस्टम होता है, उस पे ये कितना लोड आराम से ले सकता है. देन वन डोर ऑफ ऑपरेशन, allowable stacking weight. This section specifies any limitation or requirements for operating the container with one door removed. So if one door is removed, then what is the stacking weight? So this stacking weight specifies the maximum weight that can be stacked on top of the container when it's loaded with agricultural products. You can see the stacking weight is reduced to half when one door is removed. Then the raking test load value, this might be another raking test load value possibly related to a specific loaded. So when one door is open, raking test load is also reduced.
Uh, I have one doubt that.
Yeah.
So
You
this
checked
rack.
it's working fine?
Yes, sir. I already checked the light. It is working fine.
Great.
So this
Okay, then
racking value. This is some kind of load that can be uh, how this racking load actually came into existence, sir. So what is the basis of it?
Basically, raking test is a procedure to assess the structural integrity of the container, that container is strong enough or not, how much load it can take when they are stacked on top of each other. So what we do there, it involves applying a controlled load to the top. They keep applying more and more load on the container from the top to simulate the pressure it would experience in a stacked configuration. So on the top of it, they keep applying the load. So what are the main application? First is how much load you will apply in a controlled manner, and then they will try to move the load little bit, like it will be in the ship. There will be some rolling, pitching. So how much moving they are able to do, and how much deformation is happening because of that load and the movement. And then whatever deflection is there, they will analyze that failure and then give a report of that how much, at which point this plate is starting to bend, and at which point the plate is breaking, it can no longer withstand the load. What is the purpose? How much safely you can load on top of the container. If
Sir,
there are,
this raking value have any relation with the amount of cargo that we can load inside the container, the weight?
yes, of course, why not? Same, it will uh, it will contribute to that order, because we are just calculating how much total weight it can take. That same, if you remember, we have a raking test, render test value for your hydraulic winch also. So we put max, we tighten the rope full brake tight, and then we use this hydraulic power, and then we try to move the drum with the hydraulic power with full brake, and see at how much kilonewton or force that brake can hold, and when this starts moving. Even for the same for your windlass, mooring winch, all. And then if you see, there is written on the mooring winch, render test or raking test tried on this load this much. Every year we are doing, right? Same like here, we will load on top one container on top. It doesn't matter if it, whatever we are loading, mostly we'll try to load like a solid load. So it's something like a full loaded container. Basically, we want to see that at how much load the container plates are deforming. The container plate does not know the above container is loaded or empty. It is just checking the load. So whether you load an empty loaded container or empty container, this is the weight it can hold on top. Clear?
Okay, sir. Clear, sir. Thank you.
So there are two types of raking test. One is static raking test and dynamic raking test. So a load is applied gradually and held constant to assess the container's long-term state. So it's just standing. And then, as I told you, they'll try to move a little bit. A load is applied and removed repeatedly to simulate the dynamic forces that can occur during the transportation. So they'll move the container's side up, down, remove it, and put it, and see. So two types of raking tests are there. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's move to the markings. So So now you are seeing these markings. We can open in Google. Yeah. So there is one marking number which is called container number. So container number has this format. You have first four letters are your unique number, like you see here. So the first three letter of the unique number is owner's prefix, who is the owner. Like here you see. So MAE is Marx is the owner. So same way you can see here. Owner's prefix, then equipment identifier, what kind of equipment is on that container. Then equipment category identifier like U, which stands for freight container. So this is a freight container. Freight container means used for commercial purposes. Then you can have J, that is detachable freight containers, or Z, which is a trailer. So then next is the serial number. Serial number is the registration number. It's a 6-digit number of decided by the owner of the container. Like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 serial number of the container. A container owner can have up to 1 million serial number combinations. Then after that, there will be a check digit, the seventh number. Like here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the serial number, and then 7 is the check digit. Check digit is also like kind of giving a more identity to the number, because sometimes maybe two containers have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So check digit will be different, the last digit. So this is also one of the check digit. The last number of the container number that's placed out of the rest of the numbers on the right side is called the check digit. In our example, we have used 7 as the check digit. It's always boxed to ensure it sounds out from the rest of the number. So like it's, if you can just check this number and make sure that this will be different from other containers. So it is one of the major identifier number. Although it seems insignificant, it is of vital importance. It allows operators, terminals, depot, and other parties in the supply chain to automatically validate the container number. So even when, like you were asking yesterday, who checks this so many containers? So there is a electronic checker, like a scanner, no, like you have barcode in the malls and all. You scan and you it gives the details of that item, whatever it is. So same way, there is a barcode on this some containers, or even this check digit also works like that. So if there is a machine which is checking the sensor, it will use the barcode. And if there's a machine where you have to put the check digit, you can put just check digit and it will give you all the details of the container on that, or this, like this 6-digit serial number and its details, owner and everything. If you have a container number query, so if you have a query about a container, you can type the BIC code and the 6-digit serial number into the BIC tag digit category. It will display the check digit validates the container. Then the ISO code, what are the standard of ISO code? It is following the container type and dimension. The ISO code is usually located Below the container number, it's a sequence of 4 letters or digits. It provides information about the container type, dimensions. The first character of ISO code represents the length of the unit, and second character represents the width or height. The third and fourth character determine the type of container it is. Let's take an example of ISO code 45G1. So 45 indicates that it's a 45th high cube container. So generally you have 40-foot containers, then you have some 20-foot containers, half containers, half containers, and this is a 45-foot high cube container. So G1 is indicating that it's a general purpose container, and depending on the country. So this you have to remember, like this is a fixed value that if it is 45, it will be a 45 container. If it is 40, it is a 40-foot container, like that. We have, it's there in Errol Fernandez book also. You have to remember. And if you're working on container ship, you should know and remember what are this meaning of this code. A container is labeled as dry van, general purpose, GP or G1, standard or dry container. If you see a container, you will notice that there are many other markings on it apart from the container number. Read on to find out what are the other markings. So you see here, there are so many other markings. Where is this? Sandwich. So if you see here, there are so many markings. You have container number, then what we discussed just now, the owner code, instrument identifiers, and check digit, then the type, size, then maximum gross weight, tear weight, maximum payload, capacity of the container, height warning, manufacturer's logo, combined data plate, that the CSC plate is also called combined data plate, repair recommendation, what kind of repair you can do, owner's logo, like you have Mars logo, and classification mark, what type of container it is. So let's read ahead. What are the mandatory operational markings? So operational markings are mostly found on the doors of the container, however. So these are the two back doors. You can see, suppose you want to open a container. So you will open this door and this door, load the container or check whatever you want for customs or wherever it is required. So these are the compulsory markings on the container, mostly found on the doors of the container. And the container number and size and type codes are also displayed on both sides for crane operator, transport authorities, and forklift operators. Sometimes they mark on the forward side also. So it's easy, forklift or any transport materials coming from forward. आगे से आ रहा है, पीछे से आ रहा है, कहीं से भी, any direction से, if any lifter, gantry, whatever is lifting or coming to transport it, it can see the marking. These mandatory operation markings on the container give all the necessary information needed for the movement of containers. Basically, first thing, obviously, you need the container number, then size, then weight, tear weight, net weight, and other warnings, repair recommendation, owner's classification mark. These are the different markings you need for transportation. These also include visual warnings. Now let's understand what are the meaning of these markings, like gross weight and tear mass. So gross weight is, as we discussed, maximum weight of the loaded container. Then tear weight indicates the weight of the empty container. So tear weight is empty container weight. Like here you have 3,660 kg, or around 3.6 ton is your empty container weight, and it can load up to 30,000 or 32.5 tons. So if you subtract 3.5 from 32.5, so basically it can load 29 tons of cargo. So net weight is also called the payload. The net weight is the gross weight minus the tail weight, the maximum weight that can be loaded in the container. Like you have dead weight in the ship, that is called here the net weight of the cargo. So cargo you can load is around 28,840. That's what we discussed, 29 tons around. So maximum cargo volume. Now we talked about weight. Then what is the volume of the cargo capacity? This is labeled as CU capacity, cubic capacity, which stands for cubic capacity. It indicates the maximum volume of the cargo that can be loaded in the container. It provided because cargo is usually measured in volume before it's measured in weight. In the example above, the cargo volume of the container is 67.6 cubic meters. Now that you have an idea of all the marking displayed on the container, let's look at some other markings. Then you have the height mark. Containers higher than 2.6 meter or 8 feet. So normally container size is 20 into 20 into 8 foot or like that. 8 feet 6 inches have a height warning. Height marks are 40 into 40 into 8 like that. So normally the height is around 8 feet 6 inches. Height marks are displayed in two places on the container. One is on the top edge of the each side and the other is below the identification number of the container, and there are some logos. Some containers, as you can see from the image, have also different logos. It can be manufacturer logo, owner's logo, or a repair recommendation logo. Although ISO doesn't provide any standards for the quality of the operational markings, it's recommended that these markings last the entire life of the container. Now that you have an idea, let's see this once again. So we have, this is the height warning. So if you just magnify this image, we'll see caution high trailer. So this is higher than the other containers because as we saw, this is 45 feet. Normally it's 40 foot. So it is 45 feet. So obviously this height of this container is also little more than usual. Yes. What is the, why do we need this container number and these details? First is identify, and also like your courier has a tracking number. This can also be taken as your tracking number of the container. And nowadays, like we told yesterday, there are trackers also fitted in the containers, like especially the expensive containers or good companies who want to track their containers, they put it. So until a few years ago, container tracking was very complicated because it was so much manual. It was very difficult to keep track of containers once they sailed. But now the modern day containers have this tracking system. You can track your container easily. This is usually done through the container number, but can also be done through the bill of lading. So there we are, receipts. While tracking a container, you type in the container number on a tracking website and get the information you're looking for, like your couriers. Although it's pretty convenient, you can't save your data anywhere, so you have to type the container number once again to get updates. With other tracking, you only type the container number once, simplifying your container queries. So what is the benefit of this? Reduction in custom delays, charges, reduce manual tracking, improves planning, improves customer satisfaction, and helps save money. Reduction in demurrage and detention charges. So there's no delay, so you have to pay less amount of rent for keeping a container in that place, and you save money because every second, every minute counts. These charges significantly increase your cost of shipping at no fault of yours. So people used to take manually check the container and take a lot of time. So the more digitalization is taking place, like you go to US or many other places, container ports, it's a very fast trade. There's so much of pressure to transport these containers. Container number tracking allows you to get timely updates on your containers, making it possible for you to plan accordingly. If you are aware, when your containers will arrive at the destination port, you can make all necessary arrangements to avoid delays and so because nowadays container ports are like no other ship can provide you like this, but container shipping sometimes you have even ETA for 1 year what all ports is going to touch, and of course generally 1 month ETA for so many ports you will have. There is so much of planning and strict ETA maintenance is required and reduces manual work. Remember we talked about how you have to manually type in your container number. So that is our tracking system has an integrated API that automatically gives you updates. Sometimes there are some system where you get a message or update on your mobile where your container is. You can track, like you can track the courier. Then it improves planning, it improves customer satisfaction, saves your money, and you can track ship real time with the container number. Container ETA, you can, or if there is a return schedule, what is the process, delay warnings, route change. If there is any delay or route change of the container, you can get if where is the container close to the destination or not, and you want regular container logistic update, then you can read the report of those that from whom you have sent. Okay, so these were the container markings. I will just go through once more the gist. Basic marking is your container number, and then you have on which has got the owner code and the equipment identification number, serial number, and the check digit. Then you have ISO code, the size and type. Then you have gross weight, tear weight, payload, that is your net loadable weight or dead weight. Then you have other markings like dangerous. If it is a dangerous goods, that marking will be there. Classification mark. Then customs seal will be there. These doors will be locked and there will be seal of the customs so that like nobody can open or put some dangerous things inside this container. Even on ship, you cannot open these containers. Like there will be a seal, except in case of emergency with the permission. You can open, but then there will be a procedure to seal it. Maybe you'll have to call the customs because these seals are you should not tamper in any way. So that also you have to check as a second officer or as a duty officer. Then you have to keep in mind what is the port of loading discharge, etc. Sometimes the class number is also given. Okay. So now let's see. So what questions you will be asked? What is the purpose of container markings that we discussed? What are the basic components of container number that we discussed? How is the owner code related to the container number? So owner code tells us about who is the owner and what type of container it is. What is the significance of ISO number, the type and size? What are the common dangerous goods markings on container? So as per IMDG code, you'll have the class number and class identification mark if it's a dangerous goods class 1, 2, 3, 4. So solid, flammable liquid, flammable solid, or flammable gas, whatever it is, reactive cargoes. Can you explain the difference between tear weight and gross weight? So gross weight is the complete weight, the empty container cargo, and then tear weight is the weight of the empty container. Net weight is the weight of the cargo it can load. Are there any international regulations governing container markings? Yes. CSC, Container Safety Convention. So, what is the role of customs is? What are the challenges in managing container markings or seeing that the containers are safe, checking any damage, or how in this fast rotation, how will you make sure that all the container loading is proper, safe or not? If a container's owner code changes, how does this affect at the marking? Sometimes during your voyage or sometimes during the transport, this owner can change. Then what will happen? How it will affect you, or how what thing you can done? What technology is used to improve the accuracy and efficiency of the container marking process? Okay, so any other questions anybody has?
So did we used to carry like radioactives, some kind of substances in container?
Normally it is rare, but if it's loaded, then it will be like there will be very special design. Like you have for explosives, you have a wooden magazine which is called, and then it has to be kept far away as per the rules from the accommodation and somewhere very safe. So it might be possible. There is no exception because, but it will be in quite small quantity with a special type and size of container, and there will be rules to, like we saw in tankers, compatibility. So it will be loaded where other containers, if there is an accident, it's not affected much.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Then what are the latest ways where you can how the technology has improved the tracking of containers? So as I told you, real time GPS location you can get, where you can have this GPS trackers. Then that gives you enhanced visibility of the container, where is it going, to all the stakeholders, shipper, owner, receiver. Minimizes the delays or identifies the delays, optimizes the route. Then there's a new technology, RFID technology, non-contact identification. So as I told you, there are sensors like barcode sensors in the mall, and radio frequency identification tags to containers that can be read from a distance, eliminating the need for a manual scanning. Like you see a truck with a container, truck trailer is going with a container from a weighbridge, and it takes the weight and also checks the container through a scanner where this RFID plate is fitted. Then automatic data collection from these RFID plates, wherever sensors are fitted, it's going. That also is updated online. Then there is a blockchain technology, immutable records. Blockchain provides a tamper-proof decentralized ledger for recording container transaction and events, and enhanced transparency that ensures that the integrity of the data improves the transparency through the supply chain. So there is a like a portal where all this information are given freely. So transparency there, anybody can track and check this, like you can do for your parcels. Then nowadays, obviously, we have AI and machine learning, so it can also give you the prediction of when you will get your parcel or container, calculating on the previous basis of whether wherever it has reached, depending on the algorithms of previous data or history of that company, voyage, ship, etc. And nowadays, as per AI, there are new short routes which has reduced cost and increases the efficiency. Then they are using also cloud-based platforms for giving all the data of all the containers and all these things with real-time updates. Twin technology of virtual representation, like you see in this uh, website you have here, you can compose your reply or ask for any questions. Same way, you will have from the container transporter, there will be like a chat bot where you can ask for your queries or any complaints or tracking. This all this optimizes your operations. Okay, so I think that's enough for today. Time is up. Any questions, or then we'll continue tomorrow? Happy?
No, sir. Clear, sir. Clear.
Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Okay, I'll update about tomorrow and day after tomorrow because it's Dussehra. So maybe Sunday most probably we will not have. Tomorrow, if most probably class may not be there, if it's there, I will tell you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Good night, sir.
Good night.